Well, hello, and welcome to Sports by Compian. My name is Stephen Compian. This is a very special episode where we'll be covering international rugby, some NFL football, some Jason Taylor motherfucking football. It's going to be just a splendid episode, and here we are for it. I hope you guys are excited. I hope you packed your lunches, because buckle in. We're doing it. So, as many of you expected, Ireland pulled off the win against your boys over there at New Zealand. And now this was in New Zealand. Well, a lot of the Sports by Compian highlights not happening much so much because we keep on getting flagged. And if we ever do get our non-sponsor sponsors, which we will, we can't be having all this getting flagged stuff. So I got to figure that out in the future. Right now, not wrong with the highlights. Mostly going to tell you about it. New Zealand, Ireland. Some really, really high level rugby right there. If you guys are out there in the world and want to learn how to play better rugby, to improve yourself and to just be generally a better rugby player or just know more knowledge about it, watch some New Zealand, Ireland rugby, because that was all three test matches I believe were posted online. Ireland pulls off not only their first win there in New Zealand, but they back it up with a series win in general. Now that's one of the first one that New Zealand has lost since like Australia, I believe in the early 2000s. I didn't look this up. We're out here just winging it, as you would expect from Sports by Compian. But regardless, they haven't lost since like Australia, man, a long time ago, multiple generations ago. Like those guys who won and lost that game, all those dudes retired. This is different dudes out here playing rugby against each other. And the fucking Irish, right now, are playing better rugby than New Zealand. New Zealand's out there looking for answers. They're out there sending emails like, hey, guys, anyone got some ideas here? What are we doing? Shit ain't going right because I don't fucking know shit about fuck, right? As far as rugby goes. we're over here winging it. But, man, I mean, they're mostly a dominant team. So they've been ruling the world for like years now, right? Struggling against your boys from Ireland. Either way, we won't get too into that because, I mean, France won that Six Nations. The World Cup's coming up. Still plenty of rugby to be played. Great to see your boys from Ireland, though, come out here and let the world know that they're here to play some serious rugby. The U.S., though, cannot say the same thing. God dang it, U.S. What are we doing, guys? What are we doing? We're over here letting freaking Chile qualify the World Cup over us. Look how happy your boys are. Hold on. We gotta show the screen so you guys can see how freaking happy these guys are about it. Okay? Yeah, I bet you see this now. Look at this. Look at these smiles. We ain't here for this. Come on now, USA Rugby. Come on. We have too many athletes. We should be dominating this sport. Come on now. It's ridiculous. I mean, no disrespect to Chile. They're out there fucking guarding the coast of the fucking Pacific Ocean. They're like, hey, you South American countries, we got this coast over here. No big deal. Cool, good for you. But seriously, U.S., we have way too many athletes to be losing like this. It's fucking ridiculous. I'm going to send you an email back. I might send you an email back. That's debatable. Might not send an email. But I'm very disappointed. Now we're in some kind of crazy Red Robin against like Hong Kong and like a bunch of other terrible teams. If I'm being honest, I forget the other ones. No disrespect to those three teams. Although, disrespect. I mean, one of them was Hong Kong. Like, that's a city, right? Like, that's a city. U.S., that's a city, guys. Figure it out. Let's for sure beat fucking Hong Kong and get into the goddamn World Cup. Anyway. So, yeah, the U.S. team not pulling it off. Very sad stuff. Nubila, though, look at these guys. They're happy as fuck. They're in the World Cup. That's nice. Good for them. France is playing New Zealand in 400 days. I wonder if that's the World Cup. That's probably out. So let's have a look at these pools. Pool A. Holy cow. So we do have New Zealand and France, and arguably these are if this is not 1 versus 2, this is 1 versus 3. If this is, you know what I mean, like France, Ireland, New Zealand. Probably throw in a couple of these other countries, of course, like South Africa, Australia. You can't discount them. Good old England, who just won a test match test series. I'm sorry. So I was just enjoying one of our non-sponsor sponsors, Hall's. Amazing product. It will bring up your immune system like so much more than whatever it is right now. Layers on top of it. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so yeah, France, New Zealand, Ireland, England, Australia, South Africa. These are all very fucking good teams. But this is a fucking splendid pool right here with New Zealand and France. Now the question is, how many people will advance to the next round? It doesn't seem like they're giving us the information out of that yet. And Sports by Compian, you can bet we will get to the bottom of this. We will get to the bottom of it, I tell you. We will find out how many people are advancing from each of these fine pools here. How many pools we got? We got 4 pools. We will find out how many people are advancing. Probably 2. So it's not looking good for my boys from Italy. Uruguay, I don't know much about their team actually. But my brother was born there. No, your boy, your very own Christopher Compian, who has come on this podcast and talked about UFC events. They're over here in Pool A with New Zealand and France. Looking scary. As is Italy, where I was born. Also not looking great for us. But we got Nebula. That's the guys over here who were smiling. Anyway, so South Africa, Pool B, Ireland, Scotland. Ooh, it's going to be frisky. It's going to be a frisky Pool B over here. Ireland, Scotland, South Africa are going to throw down. Asia Pacific won. I don't know what that means. I mean, it's probably like a bunch of whole little islands are like, we will crush the most powerful team and we will send it to the World Cup for victory. I'm excited. I'm here for it. Good for them. Romania's out there too. Get it done, Romania. Good luck in that Pool B of absolute fighters. Anyway, we got Pool C over here with Wales, Australia, and Fiji. Now, Fiji has some splendid sevens rugby, if I may say so myself. I have watched some of it. Great sevens rugby. I don't know about the 15s. I haven't watched enough of it. Doesn't look like they're, beating super awesome teams. Ooh, and look, final qualifier. That might be the U.S. hopping into this little nice Pool C. And honestly, this is a beautiful pool to be in. Australia is an absolute animal. Fiji could be strong. Never discount the Welsh. Shout out to Swedish Rugby, who's been teaching us absolutely so much. And then you got Georgia as there as well. Georgia, I hope the U.S. mauls you, if I'm being totally honest, and we should. Where the fuck is Georgia? I mean, come on. It's like a tiny island, dude. Let's get over there and beat that. Well, let's beat them. What are we doing here? Anyway, qualify U.S. Don't let your boy down. It'll be so hard to cover this World Cup next year if you aren't in there. It'll be really fun. It'll be a bummer. So, England will battle Japan, which is where the last World Cup was. Now, Japan, England, and also Argentina. Argentina is a so well team, let me just say. That is probably arguably one of the best American teams right now. Ooh, if not the best American team. Because that is including South America and North America. They can arguably beat anybody in North America, and they're definitely the best in the South. So, yeah, that is a team of the South. Opening match is England versus Argentina. That is a hell of an opening match because that's the best team in that pool. And you got fucking Chile down there. Sorry, Chile, but we're going to be rooting against you this fucking World Cup. Unless you have any hot girls who want to maybe argue otherwise. Send me an email, and we can discuss these things. Anyway, so that's what's going on with the World Cup. Hopefully our boys get in here into this last little slot here. They got to be out like Hong Kong, and I forget who the other 2 teams are, but there's a couple other teams that need to be addressed. Now, Kyle Murray just got himself a bag. Now, I'm all here for the boys getting paid. I don't know, man. I hope he proves me wrong because, I mean, this year he did play a fucking great year. Can't talk too much shit about the kid. I think good for him. Got paid. Hopefully it backs up with a couple of playoff wins there for the old good old Cardinals. They could use a resurrection. I don't know. They definitely don't have a Super Bowl yet. Get together, Cardinals. Get together, Kyle Murray. Take him a Super Bowl. He just got paid. as well as Deshaun Watson, who may not even play any football. So this is the world we live in. Guys out there, who may or may not do stuff, getting paid anyway. But hey, I did want to shout out one of our non-sponsor sponsors, which in this fine case is a motherfucking Marth. And it's some splendid Viking fucking metal if I've ever heard it. Among others, you should absolutely be a sponsor of the non-sponsor sponsor of Sports by Compian. And that is because the Compian brand has been a long-term supporter of the Monomarth brand. We fully condone the Viking metal, fully wish we were on long boats off into the abyss. Now, anyway, go ahead and let's talk a little bit about Jason Taylor. Now, the reason I brought up my man, Jason Taylor, I remember watching some football early back in my day. I've always been a defense guy. I just remember Jason Taylor would fly off the tape, man. This guy, third round pick, so never like a super, like everyone was like, oh yeah, he's going to kill it. Now, he kind of shook a little bit of people. But 6-time Pro Bowler, 3-time All-Pro. As you can see the final stats over here. So this is what I thought was cool. He's 7th all-time in the sack list. So that's 139 sacks. Dude, that is 139 times that play was called correctly, that he was able to fucking beat that motherfucker and fucking jump in there and mug that quarterback before he could get rid of the ball. It's good stuff. We're here for it. Good for you, Jason Taylor. Sacks are not fucking easy, especially not in the goddamn NFL. So that is pretty cool. So let's see here. What else we have? A 15-year career. That is pretty cool for a defense lineman, for any NFL player whatsoever. He is also 4th in fumble return yards in NFL history, if you can believe it. So my man's out here scooping fumbles and just stiff arm and what? The stiff arm. Okay, he probably has a whole bunch of touchdowns to his name. Let's see if we can track this exact number. Jason, how many touchdowns you got, my man? Ooh, look at this! Look at this! 4th most forced fumbles of 46. That is a deadly stat right there, because forced fumbles are turnovers usually, in most cases. And that is usually going to be a turnover. That's a lot of turnovers. That's a lot of forced fumbles. That is game-changing stuff right there. You're down there in the fucking red zone and suddenly some guy comes off the edge and fucking takes the ball from you. Real sad stuff. Guess what? Your whole game just changed. So yeah, shout out to Jason Taylor. And, he just was always a defensive end. I'm here for the defensive ends. Out of Akron Zippies. Did we already cover an Akron Zippy? Was, Michael All-Star? No, he was Purdue. Never mind, we haven't covered one of them yet, but it is pretty cool. He's 7th in the attack list, 9th. 9 career touchdowns scored. That's pretty high. Almost got to double digits as far as touchdown scores. That's a lot, my man, Jason. Good for you. And you know what? In case you guys were wondering, this is mostly a defensive podcast. Although we covered Michael All-Star first because he is the man. But yeah, we will be covering a lot of defensive players coming out of here. Maybe not the best coverage of our boy Jason Taylor here. I do regret that slightly. I may or may not send him an email expressing my regret for not having properly covered his career. Because this is a 3rd-round pick guy that's going to end up in the Hall of Fame, and I think that's awesome. And he was definitely... He was someone who inspired me to be a better defensive end. I was like, that looks cool. I like how that guy's in there just disrupting whatever it is the offense may or may not have had planned that play. It doesn't look like it's going to work out too well because Jason just tackled the guy who was supposed to be throwing the ball. And that is defense in a nutshell. And I'm just kidding. That's not defense in a nutshell. Pretty terrible analysis. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to Sports by Compian. I hope you guys have a splendid evening, day, time, whatever it is that you're doing. Bye now.